Today we have another great guest, as we always do. Whelen Modified Tour driver, 2022 Loudon winner in the Whelen Modified Series, Anthony Nocella. You got us, Anthony?
I do.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. I know for a fact that New Hampshire was a crazy, crazy win, and that was your first in the Whelen Modified Tour in 2022?
Yes, it was.
Now,
it was definitely crazy.
Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, it was definitely a crazy race, for sure.
Crazy finish, to say the least. Now, I know mid-season you had an opportunity to go to a team to race full-time. Is that true?
It is.
What has that transition been like, going from one team to another mid-season and having to make it all work?
Yeah, thought it was a good opportunity and kind of went from my family car to go run that. And, they had nice equipment, good funding, all that stuff. And a full-time guy working on it, but just kind of wasn't really working out the way I had hoped. So I ran it for a little bit, but we didn't. Besides, we qualified right up in the front row at Loudon again and ran decent. But other than that, it wasn't working too good. So I actually ended up going back in my own car now.
Now, how do you play that in your mind? Now, was it not working because the performance wasn't there, or logistics wasn't there? You felt better in your own. You're comfortable in the home team. What was the situation like there?
Yeah, mostly just the performance. I didn't really have to do much besides show up to drive it, which was nice, but just the performances weren't really there to what I kind of thought, and I don't know, I kind of hoped for a little better, and just wasn't changing too much, so we weren't going too great, so I felt a little more comfortable just kind of going back to my own car and being able to kind of set the cars up myself and do my own thing again.
Hey, Anthony, how you doing? It's Paul.
Good, how are you?
I'm all right. So, one thing I know about Anthony, and I'll share with you guys, is he does all the work on the stuff himself. He works all day like a regular job.
I love that.
They got a family business, and he goes home and he does all this work on the cars, and he's competing against guys. People help him, but it's really all him, motivational. And he's competing against guys with 3 mechanics and this, that, and the other thing. Like he just said, full time on a car. So, really got a lot of respect for that, Anthony. But can you run us through a week on what you have to do to get a car ready and how much time and effort you spend doing that?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. We're actually in here right now. A couple guys with me getting the car ready for Thompson this weekend, and we definitely put in at least a couple guys come help me a few nights a week when they can, but mostly when we run back to back, I'm in here for at least 4 nights after work late, and then we load up the last one and go and just kind of go through the whole car, servicing the motor, servicing the car, and then just going through all the setups, trying to get everything perfect. The whole field's so close, so everything it shows some of the teams, that have full-time guys, just everything needs to be perfect just to run good, and then just having a pit crew, having everything, just kind of need the whole package to run good.
Is it something that do you need to be the one making the setups and working on the car? Is that a major factor in you when it comes to going to a team that might have more funding, or what it may be? Do you want to be rather involved as much as you currently are?
Yes and no. I don't say I would have to do it. I just like to be involved somewhat, at least know what's in the car. I just know kind of the way I've ran, kind of in whatever cars I've ran for a long time. I just at least had an idea of what was in the car and kind of made it easier for me on the track, just relaying what I thought might be the problem or what changes I'd like. So to me, it helps out. So obviously kind of doing my own stuff helps a little more, but I've been in some other cars that other people set up, but I just kind of knew what was in it, which I was able to at least help out a little bit.
Anthony, this is Jim. First of all, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us tonight and share a little bit about your racing career. I'm kind of like the backstory guy. I just love to, like, what got your interest in racing? When did you start? And obviously I'm learning this is a family business. So was this something that you and your dad started? If so, when?
Yeah, I started racing go-karts when I was 7. My father had owned some cars before that a little bit, and so we were around the racetrack. And my sister actually started go-karts before me, a year or so before me. She was a little older, and that's how we got started. Then kind of went from there and just haven't stopped yet. And but yeah, a family business. It's actually my father started it, and it's me, my father, and my uncle do it now, and it's kind of very busy, so it makes it tough, especially our busiest time of the year is when it's the busiest racing, of course, so it makes it tough sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I could only imagine, like you say, between the business and a racing career. I don't think a lot of people truly understand in racing. They just think the driver shows up, drives a car with a big motor, a lot of power. There's a lot of people involved, and drivers like yourself who are very involved through you want to be or just necessity. Just involved in setups, springs, shocks, tires, things that matter when you're at the racetrack. The class before you ran Hoosier tires, you're on Goodyears. The rubber takes different. Now all of a sudden the setup changes. You're driving a great race. Pit crew has a bad stop. There's so many things involved in winning. So when you do win, that sense of accomplishment, especially when it's a hobby, you're trying to make a go for it, and you got a regular job, and then after work, you're probably not getting to bed at 1, 2 in the morning. By the time you wind down in the garage, and then afterwards, 5, 6 in the morning, you're back at it. Go to work.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a lot, but it's definitely it definitely makes it worth it when you're able to win, for sure. But definitely a lot of work, especially after work, getting it all ready, and then just like you said, it takes a lot to run good, especially the NASCAR stuff with all that pit stops and everything. It takes a lot. I mean, you can have a good car, and you got to have the whole package, the pit crew, everything to have. Everything's got to go smooth there in the race to be able to stay up towards the front, give yourself a shot.
Yeah, it's probably why I love racing so much. It's guys like yourself, the family involvement. As Chocolate Meyer says, it takes 3 Ds. Dedication, determination, desire. If you don't have all 3 of those, you won't stick at it very long. It's a lot of work for that little bit of fun when you get to the track. And, one of the things I'd like, if you'd like to share with some of the people who have helped you along the way, I'm sure when you got started, somebody gave you a set of cylinder heads or some springs and things like that. And who's helping you now? If you want to share some names and some sponsors, we'd love to give them a shout out, because without those people, you can't, do it all by yourself.
Yeah, for sure. My family, the most. My father and my uncle obviously support me the most and make it so we can keep going, always have in any of the cars that I've ran. And, there's a lot of different things. I mean, there's a lot of people I've driven for different types of cars. Paul knows the Seymours. I ran for them for a while, the midget stuff, so that kind of got me going a bunch there in a lot of different cars and helped me get some different rides. And basically now, mostly my family, but also my aunt, Sandy, associate, the Air Gas, a few others that help us out, but mostly family funded and worked on for the most part.
Oh, that's awesome. To me, I think the most fun is going to be, when you look back on this, is the time you spend with your family, getting the car together. Half the fun is getting there, right? The old Wally World, right? National Lampoon's Vacation. Because getting there is half the fun. So, first, I just want to thank you for sharing your time with me and us, and really enjoy. I wish you well this weekend at Thompson, and then have a nice long winter's rest and get ready for next year.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, Anthony, I'll ask you a couple more questions. So it's a 2-part question. What's your favorite, it doesn't have to be a win, but your favorite memory to date, in your racing career? And what's the one thing you want to get that you haven't got?
Let's see.
I mean, I know
Probably
you've raced some big races. You raced the Chili Bowl.
Yeah.
You've raced a bunch of stuff, so.
Yeah, probably my two biggest, as far as fun and a lot of stuff was obviously winning at Loudon was real big, but also, the Chili Bowl was for sure. That one was pretty awesome just to be there, and especially the first year we went, we probably ran the best, and it's just that was pretty awesome experience to be able to go there and take all that in.
And what's the one the Holy Grail that you're trying to get that you haven't got?
I don't know. It would be nice to just win a good amount of different cars or whatever, but for sure, I'd like to be able to win a championship with the NASCAR stuff.
Oof.
For sure, would be one that would be nice to be able to get.
You going to all these cool venues and like the Chili Bowl. I mean, that's sick that you got to race that. That is awesome.
North Wilkesboro.
That was right where I was going. How was Wilkesboro? How was Wilkesboro?
Yeah. Yeah, that one would have been nice to be able to get for sure. That would have been right up there. But that place was awesome. I heard a lot of stories about it. But yeah, going in there, that place is it's different, and they packed it full of people, and it's definitely a unique experience for sure.
Are there any like hidden gem racetracks that deserve to be seen by a grand stage? Like you're racing all over the place. Any local short track that deserves to have a spot on national TV, do you believe, just puts on that good of a show?
I think a lot of the tracks you go to put on a great show, and one that's up there ways that I think puts on good racing is Thunder Road, White Mountain up there. Those two tracks are, small quarter miles, high bank, but put on great racing, I think.
Anthony, have you done? I should probably know this, but have you done Oswego on a Super?
I have.
Oh,
yeah.
What's that like? Because that's amazing. That place.
Yeah, I've only been in a wing Super. I've never been with a wing without the wing, but even with the wing on, that was fast for sure. That was a pretty fun experience to go there. You're moving, obviously. I mean, even in the midget, you're moving around there.
Oh my God, yes, you are.
Pretty fun to go there, and even Thompson in the Super was obviously the modified whatever is quick, and I thought the midget's even quicker. It definitely feels it, and it races that way. And then to get in the Super there, just because also, obviously you still got the wing on it, but even more motor. That one for sure there that got your attention going around there, and that I thought.
I'm so jealous of you guys to being able to race cars.
Have you ever seen Oswego?
No, where's that?
So Oswego's in New York, right? It's right on Lake Ontario.
Yep.
I'd say it's a little bigger than a half mile. They bill it as a half mile.
Yep.
Used to be a steel company up there, whatever. The people who owned the steel company. Steel walls on the infield and on the outside. So if you crash to the inside, you hit a steel wall. If you crash to the outside, you hit a steel wall.
Jeez.
And the Supers probably go what, $135 up there?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy.
Out of all the cars you've gotten to driven, which one takes the most manpower to wheel around the track for a good lap time?
Probably for a good lap time, I would say a midget.
Ooh. my man.
I think modified, they're so close, so you got to drive it pretty good. But I'd say as far as being up on the wheel the whole race, like hard, would be a midget.
How often do you get to do the dirt stuff, being in the Chili Bowl?
What was that?
Sorry, that was a bad moment of talking over each other, but you got to race the Chili Bowl. How often are you getting to race on some dirt tracks?
I haven't been in a while, but when I did that, I had ran a decent amount. I mean, nothing like a lot of the guys that go out there and do it, but when I was doing it then, I probably ran like 20 races a year or so, roughly. So a decent amount, but nowhere near like a lot of those guys. But I think the dirt midget, especially there, was probably one of the hardest. I think in that building, that was probably one of the hardest. Like, I've had to drive a car to have decent speed and run good.
Is the Chili Bowl flu a real thing? Did you get sick after that week?
I did.
Oh my
Did
God.
you really?
I heard some of the bigger names talk about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. We'll let you go work on the rest of your car, Anthony. Thank you so much for your time, man, and good luck at Thompson this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.